Okay, this could be awful timing. I don't know how much you're gonna hear, but somewhere off in the suburb, something's happening. It's kind of loud. It's like that low-grade hum. I don't think this microphone should pick it up, but if it does, I will try to remove it in editing. And if not, I'm sorry, but this is when I have to film, and it's happening. And today I decided, just on a whim, because I haven't actually looked at this yet, that I wanted to look through the Locus recommendation reading list that's been going around in my Discord. People have been looking at it, saying what they've read, what they've DNF'd. And I read, at this point, between 45 and 50 sci-fi fantasy new releases from 2023. I've read a lot. So I'm curious how many I've read. What have I missed? Because I am looking for things like those hidden gems that I've missed, especially as I'm in the midst of just like really great reading quality right now. I'm not reading a lot, but what I'm reading, I'm vibing with, which is really cool. Like, I'm excited to read it when I have time. What is time? So I figure I will share this little screen and we will go through the list. If I see a book that catches my interest, I'll look it up and maybe we'll learn about it together. And that shall be this video. We'll see if I even agree with their taste, though, because that's another thing. I haven't really looked at this that closely. And that's another reason why I want to do this, because I kind of want to look at this list and I just haven't yet. So let me turn on the screen share. All right, here we are. We are at the 2023 recommended reading list at Locus. So the Locus Awards are their own awards that happen. They are free. They are free for the public to vote. I don't know if it's nominate and vote. I've never nominated or voted because I always forget. I think if you subscribe to the magazine, though, you get 2 votes, I think. Regardless, they are cool because they split things into genres. So we're going to get a lot of genres to go into here. So yeah, so recommended reading for science fiction, fantasy, horror, young adult, first novel. So I think that's supposed to be like debut. But maybe debut only for novels because a lot of people sometimes write, short stories, novelettes, and things like that. Collections, anthologies, which I do like that those are different, because I think those are different things. Nonfiction, usually the SFF nonfiction, I will have read nothing there. Art books, novellas, novelettes, short stories. So let us go. Let's scroll down. Novels, science fiction. Right off the back, I'm excited about a cover that I see here. There's so many books. I don't know what Conquest is. No idea. I don't even know that publisher, River Run. Maybe I'll look into that. I want to try and pick up the Ginbot of Shantyport this month. I have it over there. I'm a little bummed there's no audiobook because that makes it harder for me. Creation Node. I know nothing about that. So far, I am interested in 1, and I've heard nothing about 2. Haven't heard of Bridge. Don't know what that is. Haven't heard of Prophet. I know Tobias as an author, a stranger in the Citadel. So now I'm curious about reading that. And Tachyon is a good publisher. So that one I'm curious about. I know the author. I know of Infinity Gate, have not read it because I only liked their zombie book and the reviews weren't glowing enough. A Fireborn of Exile I've heard of, but also didn't want to read because I didn't like this author's novella. I think their writing style just might not be for me. Red Team Blues, haven't heard of. Scale, haven't heard of. Furious Heaven, I have heard of. This is the sequel to Conquer the Stars? Suns something. It's like that Alexander the Great, Gender Benton space series by her. Haven't heard of Hospital, haven't heard of Titanium Noir. Biography of X, I only heard of because I watched Books and Lala's video today and I did not know it was science fiction because she kind of rated it like it was like a biography in an alternative world. It did not make me want to read it, hearing her review of that. I know about Translation State. I don't know if you can read this without reading Ancillary Justice or if it truly is an extension of that, but it's in that world of Ancillary Justice, I'm pretty sure. I have read The Blue Beautiful World. We have made it this far down, and we already knew my sci-fi reading last year was bad. But I've read one, and I really do love it. I do love that book. I don't recommend it as a first book, though, so it's a struggle to recommend it. But I do wholeheartedly always recommend The Best of All Possible Worlds. You can check that out. In Ascension, no idea. The Deluge, no idea. Hopeland, no idea. The Terraformers, I do know about that. I don't think I'll be picking that up, especially some people have been trying in the Discord, and I don't think I'll like the vibe. Descendant Machine, nope. Airside, nope. I feel like I've heard of him, but I have no idea what him's about. I haven't seen that cover, that's for sure. And then Starter Villain, I've heard about. I don't know if I'll read it. I can't remember if I got this book for my mom or not, but I think my mom would love it. And she really liked the John Scalzi that I've given her. So, because she loves humor in what she reads. So I think his style tends to work for her. Cahokia Jazz, I am intrigued by that name. Lords of Uncreation, an Adrian Tchaikovsky. Of course it'd be an Adrian Tchaikovsky. He is nothing but prolific. The Circumference of the World, no idea. Where Peace is Lost. This is on my radar and I cannot believe I forgot about it. Because I've read Chilling Effect by this author and I knew there was a new release coming, but no one talked about it and I completely forgot. So I really do want to get to this soon. Currently, we have a poll going up in Patreon for our April buddy read, and it's like neck and neck with, I think, another book that we'll talk about on this list. I really hope that one wins because I really want to read it. System Collapse. I kind of have stopped reading Murderbot, but not shocked there's a Murderbot here. And then The Road to Roswell. So obviously I am missing out on a bunch of these books. I'm hoping the short list for this category will maybe show me some things that I should try out, and it's not just everything obvious. I am curious, like the one that has jazz in the title, because I'm a sucker for music and whatnot. Let me look at the cover of it real quick. I will post it once I find it. Ooh, that is pretty. I do like this. All right, what is it about? A thrilling tale of murder and mystery in a city where history is run a little differently. I don't know who wrote The Golden Hill, but he's apparently a best-selling author for that. In a city that was never, in an America that never was, on a snowy night at the end of winter, two detectives find a body on the roof of a skyscraper. It's 1922, and Americans are drinking in speakeasies, dancing to jazz, stepping quickly to the tempo of modern times. Beside the Mississippi, the ancient city of Cahokia lives on, a teeming industrial metropolis containing every race and creed. Among them, peace holds, just about. But the body on the roof is about to spark off a week that will spill city secrets and bring it against a soundtrack of wailing clarinets and gunfire, either to destruction or rebirth. The multiple award-winning Francis Bufford returns with a lovingly created, richly pleasure-giving, epically scaled tale set in the golden age of wicked entertainments. Okay, that's kind of intriguing. It has some things that I think is cool and some things that I don't like I don't like mysteries, but it reminds me a lot about books that I have liked. So I've liked the graphic novel, The Green Lantern, that N. K. Jemisin did, which had a really similar premise of like, this place is in peace, but then there's a murder and we have to solve it. And then there's also the Dreamblood duology, which also kind of has that premise. So it can work for me. I do like this kind of reimagining, and I don't read a lot of books in the 1920s, so that's kind of cool. All right, so that's the one that I randomly picked to read from that section. Let's move on to fantasy. Blade of Dreams, this is the second book in that book series that people like. I can't remember what the first one was called, but it's another one of those city of somethings. Mr. Breakfast, no idea. Art of Destiny. Yes, I can see the cover. I think this is that blue sequel cover. It's like a Marshall Chinese fantasy series. Keeper 6, Kate Elliott. Yes, novella, mother or grandmother trying to save kids. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I've read that one. I haven't read The Warden. I don't know much about it. I feel like I should. Dead Country, don't know about, but Max Gladstone's that author for, one of the authors in This Is How You Lose the Time War. Midwinter's Tale, no idea. The Water's Outlaw. So this is the one, and you can actually see the cover on the screen, that we are voting for as a potential April read. And it was, last I checked, neck and neck with the Valerie Valdez. And I'm just like, I have had more success with Valerie Valdez. I've read both of these authors. S.L. Wong had a novella that I read that I did not dislike, but I also didn't love. So yeah, that's where I was. Water Outlaws, right. I don't know the Pomegranate Gate. Paladin's Faith, T. Kingfisher. I won't be reading that anytime soon, but yay, T. Kingfisher. I think that series or another one has gotten picked up by Orbit or Tor or something. Dragonfall. Nope, Terra Story. Lost in the Moment and Found is that little novella series of the lost children. Mad Sisters of Essie, haven't heard of that. I'm Homeless If This Is Not My Home, haven't heard of that. I've heard of Huge Around the World. I haven't read it because I'd only liked She Who Became the Sun. I do have a review on the channel because that was from years ago, so I guess if you want to know my thoughts on the first book, those thoughts exist here. My Brother's Keeper. Nope. City of Last Chances, another Adrian Tchaikovsky. House of Moons, another Adrian Tchaikovsky. We Are the Crisis, Cadwell Turnbull, who I haven't read yet and want to. So maybe we'll look up the synopsis for that one. Witch King, maybe one of the books that frustrated me the most last year, so I've read 2. Salt on the Midnight Fire and After the Forest. So a lot that I have not read, but I am at least more aware in this list. But let's look up the Cadwell Turnbull, because that is an author who I've liked their short stories, and I should read one of their books. And this might be a sequel, because I know there was one series that came out, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the sequel book, but I'm curious enough to look at the cover. We Are the Crisis. Yes, this is the second book. So let's look at the first book. Let's not look at the synopsis of the second book. No Gods, No Monsters, which has been on many a TBR for me. One October morning, Lyanna, I can't say her name. It's Laina, gets the news that her brother has been shot and killed by Boston cops, of course. But what looks like a case of police brutality soon reveals something much stranger. Monsters are real and they want everyone to know it. As creatures from myth and legend come out of the shadows seeking safety through visibility, their emergence sets off a chain of seemingly unrelated events. Members of a local werewolf pack are threatened into silence, a professor follows a missing friend's trail of breadcrumbs to a mysterious secret society, and a young boy with unique abilities seeks refuge in a pro-monster organization with secrets of its own. Meanwhile, more people are starting to disappear, suicides and hate crimes increase, and protests erupt globally, both for and against the monsters. At the center is a mystery no one thinks to ask. Why now? What has frightened the monsters out of the dark? The world will soon find out. Okay, I really need to read this book. A, didn't know it was in Boston. I miss Boston a little. And B, yeah, I've liked the short stories I've read by this author. I want to give it a go. I've heard good things. So, cool. All right, now on to horror, where hopefully I've read more. I've read so many new releases. Like, obviously, I have not been reading from the right places. Vampires of Arnolte, read. I don't know if I would have put it in horror. I mean, it has vampires. So I guess if your definition is, does it have a horror monster? And yes, it can be horrific in tone, but like, it seems more like an alternate history book, which maybe I would put more in fantasy than horror. Regardless, love it. The Reformatory, I want to read it. I need to pick up a Tanari Due this year. Whether it's a short story collection or one of her novels, gotta do it. A Haunting on the Hill, don't know that one. Mothtown, don't know that one. Starling House, that's a horror? I've read it. Again, okay, maybe. How to Sell a Haunted House, haven't read it, heard of it. I haven't read any Grady Hendrix. Ryan has read that horror store book. But I haven't read any Grady Hendrix yet. Lamb, haven't read. Don't View the Reaper, just read. House with Good Bones, I've read. Lone Woman, I've read. I have read 5 of these books. Obviously, horror was hitting for me, and my horror tastes are aligning with this list, which is exciting. I've not read Silver Nitrate, I don't have plans. Pink Slime, okay. And Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. Okay, which one of these do I want to look into? Because I want to read Tanari Due. Let's look up the synopsis for the Reformatory. Actually, no, I feel like a lot of people have been seeing that. Let's look up Pink Slime. I have no idea what Pink Slime looks like, what it's about, anything. And like, I want to know what that cover looks like. So let's find out real quick. Is this the right author? Yep. This is an interesting cover. Alrighty. A taut, harrowing novel about a woman and people who depend on her as the world around them teeters on the edge of apocalypse. Marking an award-winning Latin American author's U.S. debut, in a city ravaged by a mysterious plague, a woman tries to understand why her world is falling apart. An algae bloom has poisoned the previously pristine air that blows in from the sea. Inland, a secret corporation turns out the only food anyone can afford, a revolting pink paste, made of an unknown substance. In the short, desperate breaks between deadly windstorms, our narrator stubbornly tends to her few remaining with her difficult but vulnerable mother, with the ex-husband for whom she still harbors feelings, with the boy she nannies. Okay, so this is like a literary horror, which reminds me, where is Our Share of Night? Maybe they have different rules for what is allowed, but I did not know this was a translated work. So that's cool. I'm really glad I clicked on this. I'm always down for more speculative translated works. It's only 240 pages. Should check that out. Where is she from? They say Latin author, but I don't know where. Ooh, she's Uruguayan. Even better. Okay, that's definitely, I'm doing great at randomly picking things, I think. Okay, young adult novels, let's just say right now, I haven't read any of these. And I'm just gonna, I am excited because there are books on here that I know about and I care about. I don't know Promise is Stronger Than Darkness, but Charlie Jane Anders is like a darling for most of these award stuff. The Making of Yolanda La Bruja, it sounds cool. I also love that publisher. Damned If You Do, don't know that. A Song of Salvation, Godly Heathens. I feel like I should know Godly Heathens. Where Echoes Die, Guardians of Dawn, don't know that. The Library of Broken Words. I know that author, I think. Spellbound, I'm so out of the loop with these. The Sinisters, Booksellers of Bath. So that's probably the sequel to that other Garth Nix series that people were talking about a few years ago. Into the Light, this is the one we're going to read the synopsis of because I need to remind myself, so I'm more excited to pick it up. And also, more people need to read Marco Shiru. That's just my opinion. I really like that author. Rook, haven't read. Divine Rivals, obviously that's been going great for people. People love that in its sequel. The Siren, The Song, and the Spy. And then Spirit Bears Its Teeth. So let's look at the synopsis of Into the Light real quick. Okay. When you're like me, you have to lie. It's been 1 year since Manny was cast out of his family and driven into the wilderness of the American Southwest. Since then, Manny lives by self-taught rules that keep him moving and keep him alive. Now he's taking a chance on a traveling situation with the Varela family, whose attractive but surly son Carlos seems to promise a new future. I can't let anyone down. Ellie abides by the rules of his family, living in a secluded community that raised him to believe his obedience will be rewarded. But an unsettling question slowly eats away at Eli's once unwavering faith in why can't he remember his past? What am I supposed to do? But the reported discovery of an unidentified body found in the hills of Edelweiss, California, sorry for Californians, will draw both of these young men into facing their biggest fears and confronting their own identity and who they are allowed to be. Find the truth for the fan, and then it goes into read-alikes. Yeah, I hear this is dark. I really want to read it. I've had a physical arc for a while. So, yeah. And I think it definitely goes into kind of abuse in the family and stuff like that. Now we have first novels. I don't know if I know anything about this section. I'm just going to glaze through. I think the only ones... Oh, okay, there's like 3 back-to-back that I know. So so this is definitely because if you had short stories or whatever, it doesn't happen. Because Chain Gang, we're just going to talk about the ones I know about. Chain Gang, All Stars. I want to read that, but I want to read his short stories first. Don't know any of these. Cicadas Sing of Summer Graves. That sounds cool. Kind of want to look that up. Shark Heart. I feel like that's the green cover with the shark on it. People have been talking about. So it's like literary speculative. All right, These Burning Stars. This is a sci-fi book everyone's been raving about. God Killer. I have seen such a wide range of reviews on this book, but everyone agrees. Beautiful cover. And then The Deep Sky, I just read in January. Let's see. What are some other ones? Some Desperate Glory. I think that's one I need to look up because I have friends who have really liked Emily Tesh. I have people who haven't liked it. I think I just got the audiobook recently to like look into. Inkblood Sister Scribe I really liked. I think that was a pretty tightly written story, especially for like a debut. So let's look up Some Desperate Glory real quick. All right, here we go. While we live, the enemy shall fear us. All her life, Kira has trained for the day she can avenge the murder of planet Earth. Okay. Raised in the bowels of Gaia Station alongside the last scraps of humanity, she readies herself to face the wisdom, the all-powerful, reality-shaping weapon that gave the Majota their victory over humanity. They are what's left. They are what must survive. Kira is one of the best warriors of her generation, the sword of a dead planet. But when Command assigns her brother to certain death and relegates her to nursery to bear sons until she dies trying, she knows she must take humanity's revenge into her own hands. Alongside her brother's brilliant but seditious friend and a lonely captive alien, she escapes from everything she's ever known into a universe far more complicated than she was taught, and far more wondrous than she could have imagined. A thrillingly told queer space opera about the wreckage of the war and family you find and who must become when every choice is stripped from you. Interesting. I mean, that could be good. Like I said, I've heard mixed things, but I'm curious about it, and I currently do have access to the audiobook. All right, briefly, collections. I did notice when I briefly went through this that it didn't have my favorite collection of last year, and I'm just saying, how dare. And for those who want to know, this is my favorite collection of last year. 5 stars. So good. I'm just right now forgetting the exact order of the words because it's a long title, but I loved that book. Unfortunately, I didn't talk about it, but I DNF'd No One Will Come Back for Us. It just wasn't working for my brain at the time. I really want to read Lost Places by Sarah Pinsker. I have that still on my shelf. The Best of Catherine M. Valente, Volume 1. Imagine it writing like you're just like such a short story author. You get a best of collection. I should read that. I should do that because I've liked Catherine M. Valente's works. Odd, very unique voice. Yeah, that's about all I have for this. I don't have a lot of other thoughts. I'm not going to look up a synopsis for a short story collection. That doesn't seem to work. Ooh, Zen and the Art of Starship Maintenance and Other Stories by Tobias. He is a really good Caribbean sci-fi author. If you're looking for a good short story author, I would check out his works. I haven't read that specifically, but I've had a good time with his short stories and other anthologies where I have found them. Okay, now into anthologies, where I'm currently reading Never Whistle at Night. It's very good audio production as well. I've also read Out There Screaming. I do think I've liked Never Whistle at Night a smidge more than Out There Screaming, but they've both been about like a 4-star collection for anthology for me so far. My favorite, hands down, New Sons 2. Oh my gosh, I love almost everything in that, and that is a rare thing for me to say. And I don't know the rest. One that I was interested in is Luminescent Machinations. Neon Hemlock is a really fascinating imprint that I want to get more stuff from. And this one, I can't remember why I wanted to read it, so I will look it up real quick because I think there was like a specific project it had. And also its cover, if you can't tell, is really cool. Like Luminescent Machinations. We're really testing my ability to read and enunciate today. So Queer Tales of Monumental Invention. So yeah, it just seemed like a really fun thing. Oh, and Dave Ring is one of the editors, and he's a really good editor. We're not going to go through reprints because I don't know what that means, or nonfiction, illustrated art book. We're good there. But let's look at some novellas real quick. I think that'll be the last section because I think otherwise I won't know a lot. The Crane Husband, I've heard very good things, but that it's very heavy. I don't know this one. Yeah, Thornhedge. I read that one. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite T. Kingfisher, but it was good. I do like the Neon Hemlock representation, even if I haven't read them. I need to read Feed Them Silence and Rose House. Both of those. I'm going to look up the synopsis for Rose House, though, because I need excitement to get me to pick it up, because I love Arcadia Martine's duology, and I haven't read this novella yet. Like, what is wrong with me? Green Fuse Burning. The Mimicking of Known Successes. I'm going to read the sequel soon. I really do like this book. To Sail Beyond the Botnet. Nope. I'm just looking through these. The Lies of the Ajungo. People have generally liked it, but like I think it's generally getting like 3 to 3.5 stars. And then Mammoths at the Gate, of course, that Nevo series that everyone really likes. I feel like this one people have been saying is like a favorite, which is cool. And then yeah, I haven't been keeping up with any magazines, so I'm not going to know any of these novelettes. And I don't believe I'm going to know any of the short stories unless they're from stuff that I have read. The Farmer's Wife and Fairy Queen. Oh, that one was good. That was good. It wasn't my favorite from that collection, but that was good. Isabel Conyers has a short story. I should go read that because I love Isabel Conyers. I'm pretty sure that's the author I like. Yes, it is. There's like another author with a very similar name that I get confused sometimes. I'm trying to see if there's other ones that I would have read from different collections and anthologies, because a lot of times it's from the magazines. A Supper Time, Tananari Do. That one was good. There was like an animal thing. It was good. And let's see. They seem to imply out their screamings in here. Oh yeah, Reckless Eyeballing. That Jemison story is something. Goodnight Gracie. Yeah, terrifying. That's a terrifying story by Alex Jennings. But did also remind me that Alex Jennings, so I read their novel last year. Weird writing style. Does not connect with my brain very well all the time. Let's see. Oh, there's a new Yoon Ha Lee story. I need to go read that. A Barring of Bones by Karen Lawachi. That was also a really good short story. New Sons 2 is representing, and it makes me happy. The Plan and the Purist, yes, by Malka Older. This one was also very weird, but I loved the setting of it. That was striking to me. And then Origin Story by Tochi Aniguchi. So they have both of my favorite Out There Screaming stories on this list because they were stellar. Absolutely stellar. And then let's see. Just gonna keep scrolling down. Look at it. Look at this New Sons representation. This is great. Silk and Cotton and Linen and Blood by Nevo. Okasta was so good by Daniel H. Wilson and New Sons. Oh my god, really loved that. And let's see. Okay, so that was pretty fun. I'm gonna stop recording this. All right, those were my general thoughts on that list of reading. And I looked into stuff that got me excited. Oh, I said I was gonna look up the Rose House synopsis, even though I'm sure you guys are like, Angela, stop reading synopses. That's not why we talked to you. But today we're switching it up because this is what I wanted to do. All right, Rose House, Arcadia Martine. This is the first sentence is about the dust jacket. No, I don't care about who she is. I want to know about this book. Best set. The news house. Okay, so there's this word that I can't say, but these types of houses were haunted to begin with. A house embedded with an artificial intelligence is a common thing. A house that is an artificial intelligence infused in every load-bearing beam and fine marble tile with a thinking creature that is not human, that is something else altogether. And I'm going to stop right there because I love haunted house stories. And I don't know if that's a haunted house story, but that is a messed up house story. And I want to go in and explore and discover. Okay, so that was pretty fun for me. Hopefully it was enjoyable for you. I will link what I was looking at. And if you want to know more about the Locus Awards, they will tell you on this website. I don't know a lot about it. When the shortlist comes out, I'm pretty sure there'll be a shortlist. I will have a video where I talk about that, and I'll try and be more informed at that time. Let me know what books that you were surprised wasn't on this list. I'm still surprised by Our Share of Night. I think that's my biggest one. I mean, there were some other fantasy books where I'm just like, Amina El Sarafi didn't make it, and like popular fantasy books that like I didn't really love, but it kind of makes sense because like the Locus and the Hugos and the Nebula tend to like look at a certain type of book, if that makes sense. I don't always agree with it, but I'm just happy that some of my favorites made it. Like New Sons 2's representation brings me actually quite a bit of joy. I hope a couple of those make it to the short list eventually. And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, oh, I do not know. Leave a horror-related emoji, because truly, apparently, that's what I represent right now for these types of lists, is that my horror taste is aligning. I like the creepy stories, like the 2 anthologies I read with the horror anthologies. So something horror-related, whatever that means to you. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.